Last we left off, Chief, after having successfully completed his investigation into the underground trafficking ring in Rexentrum, spent a number of days developing the technologies he would like to use to bolster the Forge Force when he returns, and to further enable him to lend aid where it is needed. In communicating with an enchanter, he was told that in order to imbue the steeds, or the hogs as he would like to call them, with motion, Soulstone was likely the most effective solution. Guided to the Dunrock Mountains and the myriad of mines that lay therein, Chief elected to travel through the Pearlbow Wilderness. Overhead, a magnificent display of divine waves of magic that originate from the Savalier Wood. Did not take long into the Pearlbow Wilderness for Chief to learn that there was a menacing threat traversing the woods, and shortly came face to face with a large albino hydra. The battle, though short, was quite intense, with Chief being repeatedly beaten down and guzzling a number of potions in order to stay upright. Though just when things looked most dire, an individual, unfamiliar to Chief at first, reinforced him. The being that was released from the sealed sarcophagi that was within the Forge Force's home showed up and dispatched the Hydra with ease, stating that a debt was paid. As the inevitable end drifted back into the ground to make her way wherever she pleased, Chief was left there in the wilderness with a slain Hydra at his feet. What does Chief do?
Well, knowing what the Enchantress was saying or get hold of anything else, I'd like to try to get whatever useful items from this Hydra and anything I can and put it into my bag of holding.
Okay, so let's see. So there's a great number of things that are achievable here. Let's just start with a survival or a medicine check. You have different DCs and you're getting different things.
Go for survival.
Okay.
Just an 8.
An 8. Okay. You're able to get a good number of scales. 15 good, hard, complete white Hydra scales. You go to get in to get some of the claws, and you're relatively certain that with your tools right now and the condition that you're in, the kind of beating that you took, you're not particularly certain that you're going to be able to get them out without destroying them. Same with the teeth and anything deeper. If you were to attempt to take the entire hide right now, it'd likely be mangled.
Is there any work? Is this time of day? It was probably getting closer to the evening again, right?
Yeah, it's kind of early evening. The sun is just barely starting to lower in the west horizon.
Okay, how heavy is this thing?
The Hydra in total?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a ton or more.
Oh, okay.
It's quite large.
Does there look like there might be a little canopy close by I can use for the night and take another day take another night before I get there. I could try and get a little more from it the next day.
Yeah, it's not too hard. It's a relatively dense canopy normally. The track that this thing has cut is just effectively an open highway at this point is all. But immediately adjacent to that, it's not too difficult to find decent shelter.
In that case, I'll hunker down for the evening and rest up a little bit just so I can be okay when the cave comes to be.
All right. Just make a perception check, and then add Master's Wisdom modifier to it.
Okay, that's mine. Got a 7 with the roll, and then adding his Wisdom,
which I imagine is 1, maybe 2.
Wisdom modifier is 0.
0. Okay. All right. You are able to hunker down for the night. It's you can tell that it's cold, but it doesn't really matter for your body. Master paces around you as you enter your stasis. You know, it's been a couple of weeks, but a dream begins. Much like before, where your mind delves within itself. And you've come to accept now that these are memories. How exactly they're yours, how this mechanism works is not something you've been able to determine. But they are yours. This one isn't as rich. It isn't as vivid. There's flashes of a home on a hill. Simple cottage. It's not ramshackle by any means. It's a nice home, but it's small. A blonde-haired halfling woman sitting across from you at a table with a meal prepared. But the details of the meal are blurred, maybe unimportant. You catch a clear glimpse of her green eyes, looking back at you, holding her belly. And then the world turns again. Flash of darkness. And then you come to, sitting in a room, looking down, your fingers crossed. You can see your foot tapping furiously. And then a door opens to your side and the world moves again. And there, on a bed, is this blonde-haired woman holding a little girl with, even as a newborn, wisps of brilliant red hair atop her head. And the same brilliant green eyes. Then the world turns yet again. And that little girl, like you've seen before, is launching a firebolt at a target. And then again, you see her in the courtyard of that library, expelling a wave of force. And then again, older, not much older, but older. She's turning her back to the two of you and walking away from the home. And it's at this point you wake in the morning.
Would I have gotten any type of the rests for that night or no? Like a short rest?
Yes, a long rest.
Nice. Even better. I'll go, before heading more towards the mine again, I'll go try one more time getting anything else out of the Hydra.
Okay. Given that you have a little bit of experience and know the troubles you were facing, go ahead and roll a survival check with advantage.
Only 2 more better.
That's all right. You do pull out 2 pristine Hydra claws, 4 teeth, and the heart. And the heart is so cold that moisture from the air is sinking to it and crystallizing around it.
I'll put it right into the bag of holding so it stays good. Same
The
with
heart,
everything else.
the heart barely fits through the opening. It's a little bit of a press, and you think maybe this isn't going to work, but then boop, and it goes in.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Well, from there, I'll just let the wildlife around deal with the rest of it, I guess, and then
Okay.
I'll head towards the mine.
Go ahead and make just another survival check as you trek what is to be another full day of travel.
I get the natural 20 on that.
You're pretty confident you're making good time. What you find is that much of what could possibly be in your way was trampled flat by this thing. And that it likely originated from this direction, because actually towards the end of this day, as you're going, the paths that are kind of crossing left and right in the direction you're going then begin to like align with the direction you're going, and that's actually why you make such good time. You end up taking one of these paths that's almost pointed like directly at the mountain, and a good 3 or 4 miles.
Was there by chance anything of use to put in the bag as I'm headed that way? Anything that got squished that could be taken down?
Just make an investigation check. Your favorite.
26.
Okay. I've got to roll on a table. Actually, we'll have you roll for the table. Roll a D100.
60.
60. Okay. Okay, and then a D20.
4.
What you happen upon is something you realize almost happened to you. There is a small hunting party that did not fare so well against the Hydra that you happen upon. Now, they are not in great condition. Much of their armaments and armor are completely sundered. None of it is of really any use. The thought crosses your mind that maybe Sashem could make use of the metal, and that's about it. But in rummaging through their belongings just a bit in order to eventually find out who they were, let the people in town know what happened, and so on, you do find a small spyglass.
I'll go ahead and put the bits of armor that I can into the bag of holding, and I'll put the regular spyglass in my own personal bag.
Okay. There is a slight glimmer to it.
I was going to say, before I do, I want to look through it.
In just directly looking through it, where are you looking with it?
The direction I'm headed.
Towards the mine?
Mm-hmm.
Roll a d20. Just a d20.
Natural 20.
The spyglass at first, you're looking through it, and it's almost like the lenses are just like not perfect. It's not out of focus, mind you. It's that there's distortion. But then you realize that this distortion is at a very specific angle across the lens, and the top half of it and the bottom half of it are different when you look at the two. You're not quite certain what that means, but the difference for this specific instance, looking down this path, is summer and winter.
Interesting. I want to take a look at it and cast Identify.
All right. Now, for some magical items, we've talked about this before, Identify can be a simple thing. You know, oh, hey, this is a +1 sword, right? This is a much more complex enchantment. And in order to delve into this is going to take a lot more than just simple spell work. So go ahead and roll a d20 and add your Arcana check, your Arcana mod. So Arcana check.
Yeah, I just wanted to roll the Arcana ability check.
Yeah. Yep.
Comes out to a 12.
Okay. The spell doesn't cut off, but you can tell that if you don't extend your consciousness to dissecting this enchantment like more cleanly in the next step, you're going to lose connection. But what you do discern at this first step is that it's not a lie what it's showing you. That's kind of all you can grasp at that first step. You can make another Arcana check, but understand that the DC is getting higher.
I'm going to try it. If I fail, I can just ask the Enchantress down. Oh, so I'm going to try one more Arcana check. Do I need to cast Identify again, or just roll
No, it's the same spell.
Okay.
You're just kind of taking a moment as you're looking through this pearl, kind of follow any runes that are present and to watch the magic flow through it and to discern what's going on. But as you go to delve deeper into this enchantment, it just eludes you. The spell fades.
So I'll just stick it in my bag and then press on.
The rest of the bodies are far too mangled to make anything of.
I'll make a note of where it is.
Okay.
And just let someone know down in the village or town.
Okay. Next time you're in a town.
Yeah. Well, I got to go back to where I started, so.
Yeah, back to Rexentrum when you successfully mine, of course.
Yeah.
The rest of the day goes by without incident. And as the night falls. How late into the night do you travel?
I'll probably go till about before it's midnight and then rest for the rest of the night.
Okay. So well into the darkness of the night. As you're moving to this place where it's going further back in time from when the Hydra traveled through here, and you can tell you travel through these tracks of it, and more of the undergrowth is beginning to sprout up, even small saplings beginning to rise from between all of the fallen trees. Much of the trees are more completely rotten and collapsing rather than laying as complete obstructions. The animals are beginning to be heard in the distance. The occasional winter bird, the scurry of a chipmunk up a branch as you startle it. Wildlife seems to be recongregating from this point forward. But you do wake in the morning, additionally refreshed. Given that your day was only travel, you would regain your spell slot.
Yay.
And you can actually see beyond the tree line now what clears into the base of the Dunrock Mountains.
Do I see opening as would signify where the entrance to the mine is?
Taking another hour to truly break free from the wilderness and taking a position that gives you a view of this mountain range, make an investigation check with advantage.
You're just giving me Christmas. 30-20.
Okay. It doesn't take long to discern that likely this entire mountain range is dappled with holes. Now, it's also not hard to discern that what is easily accessible is likely the most pilfered of resources. Now, the choice is yours where you decide to go, but in order to get what you need, it may require slightly more untouched mining.
Remind me, did she just showed me where the mine was, not like a map of the mine?
She showed you generally where some entrances were. She did not give you any kind of detailed anything for that. She herself is not a miner.
All right, from whichever one looks like the main entrance, I want to swing around left about 300 feet and see what's that way.
Okay. And you do find one that's rather large. It has rail going into it. There are shacks out in front of it that are very clearly not inhabited, but look to be, free to be used for anybody that is working out of the mine. Moving 300 feet off to the left of that, initially you don't find anything, but make a perception check.
17.
You're cresting around this one mountain that kind of juts out into the wilderness a little bit, and you're moving around its base. And you notice that on the next adjacent mountain, it's a quarter mile away, but you have clear vision. There is a crag that cuts into the mountain.
I'll make my way to that then.
Okay. The trek is simple enough. It's beginning to be the slanted, rocky travel from this point on. The wilderness is falling away behind you. This crag, as you approach it, it goes off at an angle. On the bottom, it tapers off to a fine point and then opens at its widest to 6 or 7 feet across, closing again at 30 or 40 feet up in the air, and it seems to just cut into the mountain.
Is it big enough for me to get in?
It is if you kind of... There's not really a path. It doesn't look like that many people have been here enough that any kind of standard trail has been worn. But moving up the crag a little bit, you're kind of able to take this point where it is that 6 or 7 feet across, certainly wide enough for you to move in.
I'll go ahead and move in.
Right. The cave on the inside consists of a great number of types of stone of all different colors, with water dripping intermittently in a number of places, stalactites and stalagmites forming along this path that delves deeper and deeper. And as you move along, a small stream of water begins to form and congregate at the bottom of this crag. Seems to be the source of what's cutting the mountain.
I want to, as I'm going to keep an eye out for that exact couple of those zones, exactly of what she described. But I also want to see if there's any like emeralds or diamonds or anything else that they could use while I'm at it.
Okay.
So I'll have my pickaxe out that she gave me.
And is this, so are you like officially prospecting or just making your way deeper and what you see is what you see?
At the moment, right here in this spot, I will go ahead and prospect a little bit and then continue on.
Yeah, go ahead and make an investigation check then.
It's a 15.
Here in this place where you've spent about 10 minutes pressing into the space, and you've had to have your torch light up the entire time because as you kind of rounded this turn, the light behind you faded completely. And it is complete darkness in this place. Down below you, what is beginning to become not a rushing river by any means, but a relatively consistent brushing sound of water. And you are kind of up on this shelf as the crag then rises and closes up above you. All along this wall, there's no shortage of what look like could be ores of some kind. A couple of them are really easy to recognize. Oh, there's copper ore. That looks like it's something that's iron rich. It's very, very red. With a 15, you do find a vein of gold. It's thin. It's very, very thin.
Probably just work at that for another 10 minutes, get what I can, and then move on.
Okay, let's just have you roll just a d20.
Five.
Okay, but you do get 5 pounds of gold ore, which is a pretty good amount of rock.
I'll go ahead and slide that in my bag of holding.
Okay.
Then I'll press deeper.
Okay.
Luckily,
moving deeper.
Master has dark vision, so he can help guide me if I'm going to run into something.
Yes, and that plus your torchlight. I'm not, you're not wandering in the dark. As you press deeper, 15 minutes or so after having mined the gold ore, there's just a slight rumble, just. then settles.
Is there anything rolling down towards me after that rumble?
Make a perception check.
16.
Okay. You kind of look up to the upper side of the crag, which at this point is beginning to cut higher into the mountain. Crag is no longer only 40 feet or so in its total length. It's expanding upward and outward slightly. It's now 60 or 70 feet out. It's beyond your torchlight except for the occasional reflection. There's a small pebble that comes loose and comes down past you, but no crushing boulders at this point.
I want to get deeper to find more rare stones. So,
Okay.
if there is any in this area, of course. But
You do press deeper and deeper. How long would you go?
Knowing Chief and knowing that he has a specific goal, he'd probably go for a minimum of 2 hours more down as far as he can.
And it is about the hour and a half mark that the crag begins to turn down. It's not at a rate that you're concerned that you're going to slip and slide into the belly of the earth, but it is beginning to descend. And there begin to be very, very faint points of light in the rock. And it's not just reflections from your torch. They are self-luminescent. There's faint blues, subtle greens, reds, yellows, and the occasional speck of purple.
Due to his curious nature, Chief will turn off his torch.
Okay. You turn off your torch, and as a Warforged, it doesn't take long for your eyes to adjust. It's relatively quick, but as they do, torchlight dies, and then there is dim light in the cave from this point on. And there is a speckled starscape across the ceiling, the walls, the floor, everything. A kaleidoscope of colors that flicker and blink while others hold steady.
I'd like to go to that purple light from the rock that you mentioned.
So one of the small specks of purple light, probably only 5 or 6 feet ahead of you from where you stopped to observe all of this. And getting closer to it, it is just a tiny speck. You know, when you're looking at a very quartz-rich rock, and it's a kind of dappled, sparkly surface, that's what the entirety of this cave is like, but multicolored.
You said it's kind of like a loose gravel that I'm on, almost?
It's sort of a mix. It's water-cut stone, so some places are rather smooth, and some are broken rather fine.
I want to see if I'm able to kind of scoop under the purple light just to see if it's bigger underneath or if it's really just a little speck.
Okay. Feeling around it, this section of the wall actually feels relatively solid. And even around that speck of purple light, there's reds, blues, yellows as it gets further away. That single point looks to be Very, very small. But occasionally you do catch glimpses of other ones elsewhere. And as you turn your eyes to what is deeper down the cavern, which is illuminated by the sparkling surface, there is a brighter light deeper.
Chief's gonna go down to that deeper light.
Okay. As you then move away from that purple speck and turn to start moving, just make a perception check.
12.
12. All you notice is that Master perks up and is looking around. Seems to be scanning. And then you do hear a scuff of a rock. Just that shh. It kind of echoes shh, 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 through the cavern.
Cast that. I'm gonna just scan around me real quick before moving around just to see what. Or actually, I'm gonna focus on where Master's looking.
Okay. As you do, the sparkles on the wall have a shadow moving across them. Something four-legged and on the wall is moving.
I'm going to slowly holster my pickaxe
Okay.
and slowly deploy my shield as I'm sitting at it, and then as I'm holding my shield, my thumb will pop up with the lighter just to make it brighter.
Okay. Now, as you cast light, what is immediately around you becomes significantly more visible. But outside of that, then drops a bit more into darkness. As you flick on the light, there's a scurry. Leaves deeper down the cavern.
I'm headed down that way anyway. I will keep my shield up, but turn off my torch so I can just use the dim light
Okay.
with the light sources so I can see any bigger pieces of rock or jewels easier and head down.
As you drop the light, you do notice that all of the small points of light around you are just a little bit brighter for a short duration, and then dim back to uniformity with everything else. Restarting your journey deeper into the cavern. The points of light, the small crystals that dapple the surface, become less common, but slightly larger. And then again, less common, slightly larger, again and again and again. And it gets to the point that some of the crystals are, what you'd call pickers. Pick them up and be able to handle them. Still, every color. But there's beginning to be introduced whites, pinks, and a deep blood red.
Anything that's about the size of like this and more, I will actually spend the time to look at and toss into the bag. Anything that I see that is about the same size as Master's stone, I will definitely want to look at, especially if it's the same coloration that I was told.
Do you recall that description?
Yes. It is a deep purple with blue edges, and I'm looking for something that has more than
Okay.
an inch of blue.
Okay. Go ahead and make an investigation check.
19.
This crag is now beginning, rather than being up at this angle, it's beginning to flatten somewhat. It's still pointed down and delving deeper into the cavern, but there are also often large column interruptions to how the water has cut this terrain. With a 19, you do not find any deep purple, half-inch thickness aura'd stones, but you do find a good number of quite beautiful, unknown properties stones. And if you would just add 12 pounds of unknown crystal. You do spend the better part of an hour still traversing downward as you go, still recognizing that as you go down, the crystals are becoming progressively larger, though less frequent.
Anything that gets like bigger, but it looks like it could be very well useful, even to the rest of the Forge Force. I will stop and use the pickaxe to break off smaller pieces, and especially if they're diamonds.
Looking for specific, like, known valuable gemstones? Is that what you're suggesting?
Mostly, yes.
Okay. As you do that, just go ahead and make a history check.
24 with a natural 20.
Oh, okay. And this is kind of just a world knowledge thing. Diamonds are generally not mined in this region.
Okay.
They come from a different part of the world.
Okay.
Part of the world.
In that case, I'll keep back at what I was described.
Of course.
Need to find 2 of those deep purple ones for sure.
Okay. You do recall that the Menagerie Coast is generally where diamonds are found. Now, you do also think back and realize that 90% of all of the gold in the world is mined in Marquette. And you found some here. But beginning to travel deeper and deeper, with in mind that you are searching for notable things, you do find a pocket-sized emerald. It doesn't look to be of fantastic quality, and given the time and the resources, perhaps the aid of more miners, there may be a great amount of value in this place. Make a perception check.
I don't want it. It's a 7.
Okay. You have the a piece of candy going on right now. From place to place, there is always another rock to pick at. Increase the amount of unknown crystals to about 40 pounds. And these are all going to be of drastically varying sizes.
Yeah, and it's all going in the bag of holding.
Of course. And you know, based on the amount of space in the bag of holding, you got a lot of room. things should be fine. But it isn't infinite. Still traveling deeper and deeper. As you approach what looks to be some kind of precipice, something lashes around your leg. It's just holding you.
I'll look down and see what it is.
There is some kind of slimy tentacle wrapped around your leg that then goes off into the shadow. And Master is turned, his spikes raised.
Is there the chance I can go the opposite direction that it went? Or does that lead me back out?
Right now, this would be lateral to the crevasse. And the...
Of course, it could be saying, come this way.
And as you sit pondering, you hear a footstep. A wet footstep. And appearing from the shadow at the limit of your vision, a large, wide, and smooth head appears. Crystals embedded in the skin and large frills coming from the side of the head. A wide, flat mouth with fine teeth, and the tongue out and wrapped around you. I need you to roll initiative.
14. Too bad I don't have a speak with animals with this guy.
No, not Buddy anymore.
No, not Buddy.
It does not go first, but you are grappled right now. Your speed is halved.
I'm going to grab my battle axe off my back since my shield's already up. But I'm going to cast Shocking Grasp since it's holding me.
And it's an automatic connection, given that it's already touching you. Go ahead and roll damage.
Can I roll to see if I get crit?
Yes.
And it's not crit, but it's a dirty 20. So here's damage. That will be 6 lightning damage.
And as you reach down and grab what you now know to be a tongue that is wrapped around you, the electricity explodes up the tongue and seems to be very well conducted through this quite moist creature and does a bit more than you would expect. And the creature is illuminated and the lightning travels through its flesh. And you see a long, flattened tail whipping out the back, 6 legs, not 4, that are ended in large, mucus-covered pads. This is a gemstone axolotl.
Nice. And then for the bonus action, Master's going to run up to it and do its attack.
Okay.
For 24 to hit.
Definitely hits.
And that will be 8 force damage.
8 force damage, okay. Okay. That is your turn, correct?
Yes.
It is the gemstone axolotl's turn. It is going to... First, it's going to use its bonus action to pull, and that is going to be a contested strength check. It's going to try to pull you into its mouth. Now, at this point, it's about 20 feet away from you. So,
A question, how much of a weight can it pull?
this thing is quite large. Its head is almost as big as you are.
Okay. I was just going to say, I just wanted to make sure you can pull.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, so what type of roll do I need to do?
Just a strength saving throw against its athletics check.
Ooh, 10.
You are pulled 10 feet closer and pulled prone specifically.
Okay.
It is then going to use its action to tune with the crystal, which its frills flare out, and there's a prismatic display of colors, and then one color seems to be taking precedence, and it is going to be yellow. Yellow all across the frills, and then every yellow crystal lights. That's all that happens this turn. It's your turn.
Master's going to take another bite at it.
Okay. Still just a straight attack.
Mm-hmm. There's a 16 hit.
16 does hit. It is not an armored creature, you can tell.
For 6 force damage.
6, okay.
And then I'm just going to cantrip Shocking Grasp again.
Okay.
It's still
Again,
got
automatic hit.
attached. The automatic hit, but check for the crit. It was no crit. All right.
26. Oh, wait. I was like, wait, 26 damage.
That will be 8 lightning damage.
8, but again, this is funny. So, he rolled yellow. The lightning travels through his tongue and goes into the frills, and there is now sparking energy across the axolotl's frills.
Cool. That's my turn.
Okay. Bonus action, he's going to try to pull you another 10 feet. Did you stand or no?
No, I didn't stand up.
Okay. Doesn't affect your saving throw at all, but just go ahead and make another strength saving throw. Ooh, he rolled a 2.
Yeah, I rolled a 2 as well, but I got a 3.
Well, he's 2 plus 4. Oh, okay.
Damn. He still pulls me.
Yeah. He pulls you. You are, if you lose the next saving throw, you're going to be in his mouth. Not swallowed yet, but in his mouth. But he's about to give you a taste of your own medicine, and he's going to unleash crystal lightning. Given that you are grappled by his tongue, the contact is going to be automatic. A 1 and a 2. 3 points of lightning damage. He rolled terribly. And then the yellow fades from his frills. It is your turn.
I'm going to stand up and move to the opposite side of the head that Master is on.
Okay. And you are able. You are still face to face with it. You cannot increase your distance without a strength saving throw.
Yeah. Just trying to give Master a little bit extra boost on his attack.
Okay.
Which he will, as my bonus action, do his attack.
All right.
Would that just be straight attack still, since I wasn't able to move where I want?
Oh no! So you were able to pivot. You just weren't. You weren't able to increase your distance from the creature.
Yeah. Okay.
So advantage. Yes, you got your flanking.
Here's the first roll from Master. So it definitely hits.
Definitely hits.
It definitely hits.
Yep. That's the same roll. That's funny.
Yeah. And he gets a 8 force damage.
8. All right.
And then I will actually go ahead and do Shocking Grasp as well.
Okay.
Even though he's already still touching me, I'm going to
check
to see if it does the bigger damage.
You check with advantage for the crit.
Oh yeah, with advantage, huh?
Mm-hmm.
All right, no crit.
No crit. That's okay.
But total of 11 lightning damage.
All right. Which does a substantial effect on the creature. It nearly lets go of you.
Did I notice if it took a crazy amount of damage when he had his frill up or no?
When the frills were yellow, he took no damage from the lightning.
All right.
Okay.
That's my turn.
On his turn, he is going to attempt to pull you into his mouth. Go ahead and make a strength saving throw. He rolled a 14.
He beat me.
Well, no, the save matching means you make it. So you there at his mouth are able to kind of put one foot at the bottom of his jaw. You know, like the leg that's being pulled is basically in his mouth, but you're kind of pressing yourself out of him and, you know, ready to swing with your axe and whatnot. He fails to pull you into his mouth. So he is again going to tune with the cave, and he's going to get red. Again, the same prismatic display of colors across the frills, and there's 15 or 20 frills on each side of the head that splay out in these 3-foot long, almost like peacock feathers around the head. And then red begins to dominate. And an ominous red glow fills almost the entirety of the cave. It looks like red is very, very prominent in this part of the cave. It's your turn.
All right, again, Master's gonna attack with advantage.
Okay.
18 to hit and almost a natural 20. 18 to hit. Hits.
Yep, definitely hits.
Takes a total of 10 force damage.
10. Again, almost breaks you free.
And then thinking of how the frills worked with when the yellow was up, I'm going to actually swing twice with my axe.
Okay.
I'm going to try to, one of the swings, aim for his tongue holding me.
All right. Just go ahead and roll your attacks with advantage.
There's one. Dirty 20 hits.
Yes, definitely.
And the second one. All right, they both hit.
All right.
Here's the first damage swing. 10. Oh, wait, no, not 10. 9 magical
9
damage.
Yeah. 9.
And then second one is
10
magical damage.
Okay. And with that much damage done in a single turn, the tongue releases from you and travels back into its mouth.
And that's my turn.
Okay. On its turn, it is not going to try to wrap around you again. The way you guys have it flanked. It is actually going to turn and kind of step between the two of you, and you get a good view from the side of these frills as they spread out all around you and then ignite in flame. A roaring bursts out as jets in both directions to you and Master. Need both of you to make dexterity saving throws.
Okay, here's for me. I suck it up.
Yep.
And here is Master. 16. He does okay.
16 makes it. Master will take half of 46 fire damage. There's 8 and 7, so 15 fire damage to you, Chief, with 7 the Master. And it is your turn.
How rough is it looking from what I can tell in the lighting situation?
It's not looking great. You could, from looking at this, it's pretty easy to tell it's a relatively soft creature. It looks like it's a kind of an assassin that it gets the jump on something and ends a fight.
Okay.
It's not doing well.
I'm going to reach out and just put my axe on it and cast Shocking Grasp.
Okay. Yep, just go ahead and roll the attack with advantage. No longer automatic.
It hits
Definitely hits.
for 14 electric damage. Lightning
And
damage.
again, as the lightning courses through it, you see parts of it are beginning to sizzle, and the skin is cracking and bursting open in a large number of places.
And
Is that the end of your turn?
No, for bonus action, Master's going to attack as well.
Okay.
Here's the
Also
first
an
roll.
advantage.
Definitely hitting.
Yep.
Second roll, same thing.
That's funny. That's twice now that you've rolled the same number twice.
Yeah. He does a total of 10 force damage.
Okay. Yeah, this thing's looking pretty terrible. And on its turn, it seems to recognize that things are not going well and is going to immediately be backing up and turning and fully trying to run. Are you going to be making attacks of opportunity?
Heck yeah. But I can't do my spell because I don't have the Warcaster, right?
Correct.
So I'll just be swinging my axe and Master will be taking a bite.
Okay. And now with
still or no?
Now with how positioning works, you guys have now been like, when he leaves your melee range, he's now like this direction from both of you, so no advantage.
So here is my swing. Definitely hits.
Yeah, definitely hits.
For a total of 9 damage. Okay. And then Master also definitely hits. For a total of 10 force damage. And the axe is magical, so.
Yes. How does Master want to do this?
Well, I imagine he comes in right after Chief, slices it, like, probably pins its tail to the ground with the axe, and then Master will just jump up, grab the neck, and just break it.
Okay. And very much so. As it initially rears up and kind of stomps backwards, it begins to turn and dash away, but you see relatively quickly this is not a fast creature. It moves about 10 feet, breaks range with the two of you, and like you said, you drive the axe down and begin to pull it back. You can see the tail actually starts to separate from the body on purpose to leave it behind. But it's all the time Master needed. He leaps up onto the back, latches his large maw around the nape of the axolotl, and just crunch. And the creature just collapses to the ground.
Good boy, Master. Now let's see what I can get from this for helping me pay for what I'm trying to do. I'll spend some time trying to get stuff from it.
All right, go ahead and make a survival check.
9.
9. The challenge is that you have effectively no idea how to even approach the parts of this thing. You do pull one of the frills. So a gemstone axolotl frill. And it is this, as you reach in and pull it from the gill inside, it's about a 4-foot long stalk that has these crystalline protrusions from it.
I'll just go right in the bag of holding.
Yeah, right into the bag of holding. All right.
Maybe on my way out I'll try again, but I'll just keep going downward, trying to find the gems that I'm looking for.
Okay. and you do travel deeper. The gemstones from behind you, where the axolotl tuned with them, went dark. That is something you notice while you're cutting into it. But deeper into the cave,
Light my torch until I get to a point where I think I can use the dim lighting again.
okay. You are able to see in the dim light relatively consistently at this point. There are the occasional points where it's like, maybe I'll just, kick it on. You do reach a drop, and it is deeper than you can see the bottom.
Does it look like there's any path to my left or right? Or is it just a straight cliff door?
The crag ends at about 60 feet in each direction.
Any type of gems around me?
There are still dappled everywhere. What are beginning to become larger, they're starting to be 1.5 to 2 to 3 inches around, and some upwards of 4 inches long, of all different colors of crystal. In really looking at them, you can kind of tell they're not necessarily like fine gemstones. There seems to be some other mechanism here, some other geologic mechanism, and you're not a jeweler, you're not a geologist, so it's hard to accurately discern all of that. But just go ahead and make this would be a nature check.
$21.
Okay. You can tell that these are crystals of a common base element. There's just something else infiltrating them at different rates that is giving them their color.
Well, in that case, I'll go back the way I came, see if there's any other shafts or outshoots on my way that I can maybe turn down.
Okay. You do take the 15 or 20 minutes to get back to where the axolotl was, but make an investigation check.
29.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. The direction the axolotl was turning is not the direction you just went. And you turn and you go the direction that it was beginning to run, and you do see another channel that goes down and then sweeps to a flat. It's probably about 6 feet round and appears to be worn over time by some kind of creature. Could be the axolotl, though looking at it, hard to say if it could burrow in stone.
Well, I will go ahead and duck down in it and start making my way down that path.
And you are able to. It's not the most comfortable. It's hunched over a little bit, and there's some grinding and scraping occasionally, until about 10 minutes deeper. And this tunnel specifically is pitch black. There are no crystals inside the wall here. But you break into a cavern that opens up into an incredible expanse. And at this point, you can drop into roll 20. A cavern opens before you, and there are towering 30 or 40 foot crystals of a rich purple that spire upwards all around. But in the center, what you see from there is a pit that drives down.
Out of being
light.
cautious, Chief would tell Master to do a little repair.
Okay.
And then he would also just kind of tap himself on the chest to do a level 1 cure wounds.
Okay. Yep, just go ahead and roll healings for that.
Just for Master. He goes back up.
All right.
And then for me...
Yep.
Nice. 14 max.
Almost fully recovered again. Nice.
After doing that... Go ahead, sorry.
As you cast magic, the crystals nearest you, they just respond to the expulsion of ether.
I want to step up to the edge of this pit to get a better look down.
Okay. As you do, the outcroppings are there, but it does delve down and becomes black beyond the limit of your vision.
And I am going to take that pocket-sized emerald that I found.
Okay.
And I want to just toss it into the middle to see what happens.
Okay, just roll a dexterity check to see how accurately you're throwing it down the middle.
Oh, not bad. 13.
Okay. It does. About 5 seconds later, you hear... It becomes fainter and fainter and reaches a point where you cannot hear anymore. Make sure you mark off the 1,000 gold emerald.
Yeah. I didn't want to toss the unknown ones, so... I guess I could have just grabbed the thing off the floor, but oh well.
Maybe.
Whatever.
But your attention turns to the crystals around you. They're purple.
Are they a deep purple?
Make an investigation check.
26.
Here immediately around you, no. But perhaps elsewhere in the room, and I'll keep this check number in mind, maybe you'll find something else. But it's as you're looking around, the ground again shakes. Dust and small pebbles fall from the ceiling around you.
I'm going to move to the left, or this way.
Okay. Some of the crystals over here are significantly more rich in color, and you do notice you have that slight blue outline.
Being a tinker, I'd be able to judge a half inch or not, right?
Yeah, you're pretty certain that these are not sufficient for that. Now, whether they'd have other applications, you don't know.
I'll break off some or pick up some in this spot to take with me.
There are some small ones that are pickable, but in pulling out your pickaxe and going to smack the crystal, it's rather hard, these large towering pieces, but given enough time, you could break through. Each crack with the pickaxe seems to just do just a little bit more. How big of a piece are you going for? This particular
size of a fist.
Okay, so kind of out towards the outer edge, Kind of a top corner kind of thing.
Yeah, just
Okay.
something to give them later.
Just go ahead and roll a strength or dexterity check. Different DCs.
Strength, please.
Okay.
16.
Okay. You are able to break off. It's a little bit bigger than a fist. It's more like a cantaloupe of this crystal. Now, there is an inclusion kind of through the middle of it. It didn't cleave it, but you can tell that it's effectively two separate crystals at this point. So you could add low quality soul crystal to your inventory.
Yeah, I'm just writing all this stuff down on the paper.
Yeah, that's fine. Doing a bunch of custom items is silly.
Low quality soul stuff.
And then you could put cantaloupe next to it if you want.
I just put bigger than a fist.
Okay.
One of Chief's fists, which is basically the size of a cantaloupe.
Yeah, that's fair.
Am I able to squeeze through this part, or is that?
You are. And you should be able to.
Nope. Oh, wait. There we go.
Yeah, just barely, right? And it is just barely. The crystal is kind of scraping against your chest and back simultaneously as you're pressing through. A little bit of the dust, purple dust, falls to the ground.
Go right to there.
The ground again shakes. Make a perception check.
$22.
There is beginning to be a rising draft of air from the hole.
Okay. Before I move on, going around the room, I want to pull out those glasses.
Okay.
And look through them to see if there's anything that might not be able to be seen without having to cast invisibility. See invisibility.
Okay. Yeah, you. Yeah, that'd do it. You put them on, and how to describe this? Inside of the pillars of crystal, there is a swirling vortex of faces, of creatures that are just turning and roiling. There's no sound. But there's something inside of all of these.
With the glasses still on, I'm going to keep them on, I guess, for the rest of this thing, but I want to look at the piece that I pulled off. Pull it back out.
You pull it back out of the bag, and there are things in there, but they're spilling out, dissipating.
I'll just put it right back in just to preserve it. I'm going to continue making my way around looking for the specifically dark purple with the blue line that
With that investigation check, it is about at this cluster here. You see it's about a 6-inch tall, beautiful, perfect hexagonal structure that comes to a nearly infinitesimal point based in the rock. A single piece. Its halo, its aura of blue, is well within the margin of what's needed.
I would like to carefully extract it.
Okay. Specifically being careful, what tool and how are you doing it? And it's nestled in a cluster of other less pristine crystals.
What comes with the smith's tools? Probably like
A hammer, a hot cut chisel, a punch. Like, definitely things you could use for this.
I'll probably use the smithing tools. Try
Okay.
to get it out.
Yeah, just go ahead and roll a dexterity check with advantage. Given that you specified you're being careful, you're using good tools for it.
Oh, 18.
18. You know, it's tricky. And at first you're going in like straight at the base of this thing, but then, you know, the rock chips in a way that you think is almost going to send a crack up through the crystal. And, oh no. And you start breaking away the outer crystals. And it takes a little bit more time. It's actually in the middle of you doing this that, again, the ground shakes a little bit. A little bit more of the dust and debris falls. A crystal actually tumbles about 15 feet from you over here and goes down the cavern. Make a perception check to listen out for that. But you begin to break away all of the crystals that surround the base of this one. Okay, we'll get back to that. And finally, the whole base of this one is exposed, and you work outside of it, and it's come free.
What can I see inside this one? Got those glasses.
Make another perception check. It's as you're peering into this, you're hearing that larger crystal tumble down the hole. But then it goes boom.
There's water or something?
But it wasn't very far.
Okay, I got a 21 on the looking in the crystal.
In peering into this crystal, there's something there. But it is very ephemeral. It's very locked in.
I'm going to slide it into the bag of holding.
Okay. A rush of air comes bursting up. As you turn around, what you see is this eruption of gelatinous flesh, glowing a bright blue. Tentacles spilling out onto the floor, slapping against the stone.
Is my green emerald on top of it?
You can't see it.
Oh, okay.
It's just pulsing.
I want to step back away from the ledge for a moment and just eyeball it. See what it's
As you move and Master instinctually follows you, it doesn't look at you because it doesn't have eyes, but you can feel its attention on you. And it and this burst of blue light casts out. I need both you and Master to make a wisdom saving throw.
Ooh, let me look at something on Master. Just for Master's sake, he has conditioned immunities to Charmed, Exhaustion, and Poison. So
This is not those.
okay, Wisdom it is. Natural one for me. And
Master?
he got a 19.
Oh. Okay. Your vision goes black. And when you force your eyes open, you are within this column of crystal. It can see Master stepping over your now lifeless body on the floor as a spectator. And that's where we're going to end this session.